guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be testing out the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth Foundation, or apparently if you are Canadian, this product is called the Hydrate and Smooth Foundation here, but I wanted to make sure I tried this one before my skin kind of goes back to normal. I'm still pretty dry from finishing Accutane. I do also have the Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, so if you want to see me test that out, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I have already tried the Dream Velvet and Better Skin Foundations from Maybelline. Those will be linked down below with my million other foundation reviews. This is the earliest I have ever started a first impressions, which is kind of sad. It's 9 in the morning. Usually I have so many like little things I need to get done, and I usually don't end up starting till like noon. So if I seem a little bit tired in this video still, it's because I am. Also, I'm extra red right now because I did just freshly wash my face. So let's talk a little bit about this foundation. I paid $13.99 for it at Rexall here in Canada, but it was $7.99 on the Ulta website, just for a point of reference if you live in the States. And the bottle is just a glass bottle that is open. It doesn't have a pump or anything, which is annoying. Let's see how long it takes for me to spill this. It's available in 16 different shades, and I chose 120 Classic Ivory, which is the third lightest. It's supposed to have light to medium coverage and give your skin a naturally luminous finish. They say it's formulated for normal to dry skin, and it will hydrate rough patches for smoother looking skin. They say the Shade True Gel Foundation will merge with your natural skin tone and leave your skin fresh, breathing, and flawless. It also has a chemical SPF of 18. It's non-comedogenic, dermatology tested, and also fragrance free. So now that we know all about it, let's get started with the application. So I'm going to be applying half my face with the Beauty Blender and the other half with the Real Techniques buffing brush, because you guys seem to be enjoying that for the most part, and I've already primed my entire face using the Too Faced Hangover Primer. It's pretty liquidy, so you definitely want to be careful when you are pouring it out of the bottle. So I'm just going to dab it on one half of my face and get started with the Beauty Blender. The shade is definitely darker than I was expecting for a product marked Classic Ivory. Let me know where you guys live. Do you have testers at your drugstores? Because I don't, and I honestly do not understand how people can easily find a perfect match for them in drugstore foundations. But anyways, the shade below this looked way too pink, and then the lightest shade looked way too fair for me. So I don't know, this is probably the best match I'm going to get at this point. I think the Beauty Blender did a nice job though. It went on smoothly and definitely has more of like a medium coverage, I would say. It did a really good job evening out my redness, but there's still a little bit of marks showing through. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side with the brush now though. I think I definitely prefer the Beauty Blender. It went on okay with the brush, but I feel like there's a little bit less coverage, and this side it feels very like wet and very heavy on my skin. This side feels weightless, like I have nothing on it, and this side feels like I have foundation on. And I think I prefer the finish with the Beauty Blender too. This side is definitely more dewy and wet looking, and then this side still has a nice glow, but it's just not quite as intense, and like I said, it feels a lot better. I'm gonna quickly add a second layer to see if we can build it up, because it's not quite as much coverage as I would like, and I'm also gonna bring it down my neck when I do that. So it built up okay. I was definitely able to get a bit more coverage of it. Building it though definitely intensified the shine and the dewiness of it, which I'm not really loving. Even though my skin is drier, I feel like this just kind of looks a little bit sweaty, honestly. Your best bet would probably be to just apply a light layer with the Beauty Blender, and you're just going to get like medium coverage out of it at the most doing that. You can definitely see my pores and the texture on my skin, but it's not accentuating it as much as some other foundations I have tried have in the past. I really don't like Maybelline shade range though. I'm realizing I can never find a good match in their foundations. Like obviously this is too dark for me, but their porcelain shade was so light, so I don't think I would be able to find an exact match, and that's kind of what has happened for me with all of their foundations. I'm gonna go ahead and do a close-up and then finish off my face makeup and check in with you guys in a second. The Too Faced Born This Way concealer underneath my eyes and just a little bit on my nose. I set that with my NYX contour kit, and then I lightly dusted my face with the RCMA No Color powder. Couple things with the application. When I started doing my brows, first of all, I prime my lids with my eyeshadow primer and I bring that up into my brows a little bit, so usually I am good to go. When I started doing my brows though, the brow pencil was just kind of like sliding all over the place, so I had to powder my brow area pretty well to keep that from happening, but then it was all good. Also, this foundation is definitely not transfer proof without powder. When I was like touching my face, a lot of product was picking up on my fingers, so that's something to keep in mind. You'll probably need at least a light dusting of translucent powder, even if you do have drier skin like I do. One thing though that I should mention, if you follow me on Snapchat, you already heard me talking about this, but I am starting to get the tiniest bit oily just like right in here, right at the crease of my nose, so that's something I'll have to keep an eye out throughout the day, but it's pretty minor and the rest of my face is still definitely dry. So I guess I'm more kind of like combo now, but dry for the most part. From what I can see in the viewfinder, I feel like it actually looks decent on camera, and even with the powder, I don't know if it's picking up, but it still does have like a little bit of light reflection and glow. But in person, and I'm sure you'll be able to tell in my close-up, it does look a little bit more cakey. Aside from that though, it looks okay. Like, I don't hate it, but I'm definitely not wowed by it. But I'm gonna do my second close-up, finish off my makeup, and I will be checking in with you guys throughout the day. Quickly before I go on with my day, I just want to add that even after setting this with the RCMA powder, it was still a little bit tacky feeling. So when I started to apply my bronzer and everything, it didn't move around the coverage, but there was like a little bit of resistance and it was kind of a little bit hard to blend. I think I was able to make it look okay for the most part, but if my bronzer looks a little bit weird in some areas, that is why. So just keep that in mind. I'm definitely like super bronzed though today since this foundation was a little bit too dark to start. But I will be checking in with you guys throughout the day. It's been 6 hours now and not that much has changed so far. I have been sweating a lot, which hopefully soon I will be able to stop saying that. Hopefully the Accutane will be all free from my system and I won't be sweating anymore, but I have been sweating quite a bit and it's held up pretty well through the sweat. The only thing I would say is that my forehead is looking a little bit greasy and shiny, if you guys can see that, but other than that it looks okay. Once again, still doesn't look great or anything, but it's like a decent looking foundation, I would say. It just does look quite cakey and makeup-y when you get close up to my face in person. Other than that though, it does feel extremely hydrating on my skin without being greasy though, and I would say after I had it on for maybe like an hour or two, that kind of heavier feeling went away once I'd had it on for a while. I can still definitely feel that I have foundation on, but it doesn't feel heavy, which is always nice. But I think that is all I have to update on for now, but I will talk to you guys later on in the day. I've had this foundation on for 15 whole hours at this point, and I'm sorry if I'm like blinking a lot or anything. My eyes are extremely irritated, hence why my concealer is all worn off and everything, because they have just been like burning for the past few hours. So I was editing the footage from earlier, and believe me when I say that this foundation looks better on camera than it does in person. I know some people are going to be like, oh, it looks fine, don't be so picky, but the camera really isn't picking up the slight kind of cakiness that it has, and also the shine. I've gotten really shiny in my forehead. I think you guys can kind of finally see that on camera, and like really shiny in my nose and in this area. This is the shiniest I've been at the end of the day in a very long time. Once again, I am just oily in here, the rest is just the foundation. And in my nose creases where I am actually getting a little bit oily, it's just kind of all pooled and sank into that area, which obviously is not good. In case it wasn't already painfully obvious, this is not going to be a good foundation for oilier skin types. I have to say though, I am pretty surprised with how well it has held up considering how long I've had it on. Aside from that, it's really just been like some minimal wear around the edges of my face, which is pretty standard for me. But this foundation definitely is not transfer proof. I've applied like a pretty good amount of powder to my face, like when I was doing my makeup, like between setting powder, bronzer, highlight, everything. It was a decent amount of powder, and I'm still getting transfer even at this point in the day. Like when I touch it, there's transfer on my fingertips, and all day I had to be really careful that I didn't like bump my face or like lightly itch or anything, because it would remove. Like at one point, I don't think you'll be able to see, but I bumped my nose and it's kind of like worn off on here, and I'm sure if I like touch my nose, like a bunch of the foundation comes off. And I mean, you're obviously not going to be purposely being like, ugh, during the day, But things happen, like lots of times throughout the day I will end up like accidentally bumping my face or something and the foundation will wear off my nose or my forehead or whatever. So that's definitely not a good quality to have in a foundation for me. I think this foundation is fine all in all. It's just nothing special. It's basically like exactly what I would expect from a cheaper foundation. It does an okay job, but it really doesn't do anything extra for my skin like some of my other favorite foundations, well, even other drugstore options. I just feel like after trying the Dream Velvet and also the Better Skin, both of which I did not like, especially the Dream Velvet, that was a disaster. I just feel like the foundation area of Maybelline is really lacking, which sucks because I do really love Maybelline's other products. At this point, I definitely really would not recommend their foundations. I think there are better options at the drugstore. You guys know I love my CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous foundation, and if you want something similar to this, I would probably recommend the L'Oreal Pro Glow if you have drier skin. It still gives a really nice glow, but it's longer wearing and more transfer proof. I don't have to set it. I can still apply my cheek products, no problem, and it really feels lightweight. Like I genuinely forget I have foundation on when I'm wearing that product, so it would be a good alternative. It's a little bit more money, but I think it's worth it. I'm basically just very unenthusiastic about this foundation, so I'm sorry if this review is a little bit lackluster. That's just kind of my thoughts on this product. Once again, it's okay, but there's nothing about it that I'm like, wow, I love this, or even really like, wow, I really hate this product. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's a drugstore foundation. It's whatever. I just definitely think there are better options out there, but once again, if you guys really want me to, I will still test out the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation, so be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you do want to see that. And I hope you guys did find this video helpful. I just think there are way better options out there. Don't forget to check the description bar down below for all of my past foundation reviews. Go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I am at SariRihanna on all three. And hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here. I'm just realizing I'm blinking so much, so I'm really sorry, you guys. But I'm gonna go wash my face now. Hopefully that'll help my eyes, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.